My name is Dan Solem. I'm with the White's Company. I'm the project manager for the Iowa State University Veterinary Diagnostic Lab project.
And I'm also Daniel Hale with Strang out of Madison, Wisconsin. One of the architects on that lab, but also one of the lab planners. My primary role is also as a project manager and managing the engineers and the architects on the design side.
I think of collaboration as a roadmap, that you're going to have these different twists and turns. And like Dan said, really phoning a friend, calling the expert, being real about getting the best solution. The best solution isn't the best cost. It isn't the best, it's not the most timely. It's about how can we really feed into what the client needs are, and how do we solve the problems now and in the future, so that way they get the best product. And that roadmap, it's winding. It takes you in different places, and you meet a lot of different fun people along the way. But you're trying to keep that end goal in mind at all times.
A delight to work with this group. They have made great decisions in a very timely manner, and it has made our job much easier and really kept things moving on schedule. It's been great.
It's really helpful that this ownership has their facilities team that has went through multiple projects in this campus environment to help also the user groups understand the timeliness of decisions. Those two have worked hand in hand along with the local leadership at the VDL and College of Veterinary Medicine.
The bridging team vetted many areas of this building to a very high degree, and they really took those through what we consider a design development level, say 60% design. Other areas they did not spend as much time on. They were secondary or even tertiary spaces, and but they did get into the scope, and then we knew that the dollars were there, but fewer conversations had been had in those areas. Well, that doesn't come through just in the documentation. So one of the challenges is as you start talking about those spaces, and we think we know more than we do, but yet the users have not had a chance to have some input onto it. So we're caught off guard a little bit, a little surprised by some of the progression of the design that really needs to occur, some of the detailed discussions that need to be there. And then taking that information back to Dan and the construction team and saying, hey, what do we have in a budget? When you start talking about the line item budgets and making sure that we track each one of those, recognizing that, where's our role and what is our latitude in making these adjustments without going back to the construction side, because there are schedule impacts and there are cost impacts, and we need to honor that as well. And so that's really one of the biggest challenges. How do we overcome it? Again, users were very available. We had a couple of extra conversations in those areas. They recognized that we needed to have more of their time. Dan was patient until we got that information, but also said, hey, I need this information in a timely manner. And so we, again, asking tough questions and pushing the design schedule a little bit. And that's how we overcame it. It was just really kind of rolling up our sleeves and getting it done.
If you're doing it right, you need to feel a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
And there were definitely some times where we did collaboratively, we selected to put the pencils down and let some of the decisions catch up. Mm-hmm. That is hard to do. Sometimes you have to hit the reset button, make sure that we made it through our progressions, and certain milestones needed to change to properly support the project. Strang did a tremendous job working through those, making sure that the engineers, even though they were burning the midnight oil, that they were still progressing in a manner that was conducive to the project schedule. Also, taking small batching seriously is a big challenge for people to overcome. You don't always get all the information, and the best design build teams don't need all the information. They need alignment, they need strategies for that alignment, and that's how we're able to overcome some of those early material procurement releases, early equipment releases, in order to deliver the project faster.
What really gets me excited about lab buildings is the users. we get to work with smart people, and we work with scientists that have PhDs, multiple PhDs. They know exactly what they want to do, but they don't know how to get there. And they can't visualize very well, so we get to help them visualize the building. They get to help us understand what's happening at the bench level and understand why that clean air is important, why the cleanability of the space needs to occur. We're working with high-performing finishes because they have to be scrubbed and cleaned with chemicals. And then there's a process flow through this whole thing. And all that works together to make a diagnostic lab or an analytical lab function well. And it's a kind of building that I get excited about on a daily basis. Dan, you say you've done 3 of them. I've been doing this for 24 years, and I still get excited about it.
With a lab building, you always get something unique. I stare at this building and I think, hey, will I ever get to build a building next to an airport with an incinerator that has a plume that can affect planes that are going in for landing? I don't know, maybe, but those types of things really, something you haven't seen before is really unique to labs.
You get to leverage what you've done in the past and learn and apply it, but you're always learning this thing. It's a great industry, and labs are an exciting building type.